Is anybody else just kind of damaged from a lifetime of loose vagina jokes? I saw the TikTok where the guy jokes about saying a plethora of things including Kegel exercises into his Jeef's phone so she'll get targeted advertisements. I can't stop thinking about it. It just seems like joking about vaginal tightness is a hell of a lot more acceptable than joking about penis size. And it's fucking damaging. With my very first boyfriend, almost all of the time I would clench during sex. And it just makes me sad. My mind had already been poisoned at a very young age by banter from misogynistic men around me who felt it was all in good fun to joke about how a woman who's been around would have a gaping vagina. I just wish it would change. If I have to worry the entire time I'm having sex about being tight enough, I'm not going to enjoy it. I had a guy make a comment about how I wasn't as tight as the last time we had sex. While having sex, I looked him dead in the eye and told I hadn't shit for a few days the last time we did. Needless to say, things ended with him shortly thereafter. Edit more towards Ops point. Before that incident and that point in my life I would needlessly worry about it. I did pelvic floor exercises in high school, years before I ever had sex for the first time. Because I had heard that guys can tell when you are loose. Absolute absurdity. I dated a guy who said that about his ex. He was 2.5 inches. It's called projection. I just refuse to feel less than by a bunch of morons choking their chicken like it owes them money. They consume porn. They pursue women. They're the ones who make sex one of their primary goals in life. If you're then going to insult the very target of your objectives, then basically fuck off. We are people and don't deserve the disrespect. Also, they're so sensitive about dick shaming that it makes me think they do it just to make us feel as bad. But there are a lot more men going around shaming each other than women shaming other women for having loose vaginas. The posts comparing our healthy, normal body parts to ham sandwiches or roast beef are what really messed me up. Also, hearing it referred to as an axe wound once made me cry. Completely reprehensible behavior. I was dating a guy who kept recommending me to do Kegel exercises. It made me feel like I was too loose for him. I did do the tightening of my vagina thing too already. They don't realize how annoying it is to constantly do those exercises. I gave up after not too long. It just made me feel like I was doing all of this extra work just to please a guy a little more in bed. Not worth it. He also has a porn addiction, so probably had a death grip issue. I had no issues with my tightness with other guys in my life. Usually they would tell me I'm pretty tight. But they didn't have issues with porn. From what I understand, it's supposed to become a little more loose when you're aroused. So if a guy wants it to be tight, that's saying quite a bit more about him, I think. It bothers me that they say it and then gorilla grip their dick to beat off. Like, only one of us can fix the issue and it's not the person with a vagina face with rolling eyes. I also get creeped out when I hear guys talk about tightness because of what that indicates. A tight vagina is a symptom of a weak or unstable pelvic floor and should be brought up with your doctor. Or a sign of not wanting a dick in its sew. It's absurd because most men have gripped their dicks too tightly over the years and vaginas will never be as tight as a man's death grip. It's their own problem. And they are deflecting. I find it funny how women who get around have big ones, but a monogamous woman who is with one guy but has sex daily won't. Say the woman who sleeps around sleeps with one new guy every couple of weeks. That is 26 new partners in a year. But at the same time, she is only having sex once every couple weeks. How is that worse for the vajayjay than having daily sex? I mean in terms of the gaping, not STD risk. I find those jokes super damaging and borderline pedophilic too. When people talk about young and tight vagina, I get such an awful taste in my mouth. And how often it's accepted is so disturbing since it shows itself as genuine beliefs. I'm still haunted by the idea of the husband stitch. Isn't this based on Andrew Tate's hyperfocus on virginity? That men really only want brand new unused young girls. The whole thing about body count, where men should be able to sleep with as many women as they want to while women can't because that makes them undesirable. Actually, I think virginity is prized because the woman is unable to judge whether the man is a good lover or not because she can't compare him with other men. If we indulge the idea for a second, tightness involves both the vagina and a penis. So if the vagina is loose, maybe his dick is too small to fill it out, winking face. But yeah, it's stupid. A vagina adjusts to what's inside it within reason. These guys probably have never even had sex. Men use insults about the appearance, size, and smell of a woman's vagina to gain power over them by ensuring that their self-esteem remains too low to advocate for themselves in intimate relationships. I know so many women who are too embarrassed to demand foreplay or oral sex from a man prior to intercourse because they're self-conscious about their vaginas. Yeah, I've been very insecure for a long time. The same goes for jokes, remarks about labia. I used to think there was something wrong with me because of stuff like that. Vagina are meant to loosen up when stimulated. A tight vagina is a symptom of a weak or unstable pelvic floor and should be brought up with your doctor. Yeah. But any of us who have passed entire humans through our vags can tell you that our husbands don't stop wanting sex after. Could it be that our vaginas are not that different after childbirth, and or B, we are more than our vaginas? Stop listening to guys trying to gaslight you into feeling less than you are. I think talking about people's genitals negatively in general just needs to be stopped. I never appreciated the small dick jokes. I think it's tacky and hurtful. Hearing that similar is being done about vagina size is just as upsetting. Just let people live. You don't think we're all going through enough as it is? My ex told me I was loose and doubted I was a virgin. That hurt me so much. I am permanently fucked from this, haha. I'm also always concerned about getting too wet because then it's less enjoyable for him. It's just as bad as joking about penis size but somehow way more acceptable. I don't get it, dude. There will always be shitty men who try to bring women down instead of improving themselves. You can't change this. You can only choose not to internalize it. Remember that another person's actions always say more about them than they do about you. After sex one time with a new partner, he pats my tummy as he says, "We need to get you started on some Kegels, bro." It was a slip and slide down there because I was so turned on before he said that. If anything, I needed to get started on occasionally drying off with the sex towel to increase friction. It just seems like joking about vaginal tightness is a hell of a lot more acceptable than joking about penis size. And it's fucking damaging. IDK. I've never seen someone react to a woman driving a small car by saying she's probably compensating for her loose vagina.